With that, I will call the Crawford County Board of Elections meeting to order. I will entertain a motion to approve the February 11th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carried. So our item for discussion and action today will be the temporary change of the polling location of Centerville Borough from its current location at the Centerville Volunteer Fire Department at 39567 Centerville Road to the Athens Township Municipal Building located at 35697 Centerville Road, same town. I think for the purposes of propriety, I would entertain a motion to execute this move, followed by discussion.
He motioned that? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't. You want to?
No. Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I would ask Jess, could you come up to the podium so we can hear you? But can you tell us if you received any help from anyone, anybody who has committed to helping in Centerville?
We did have one person reach out. She did not want to have the location moved to Athens Township. She would like to work. However, if we are doing the temporary move to Athens, she wasn't
She'll work if you
really
stay in
willing to
Centerville.
work there. She wanted to stay in the borough.
Sure.
And we did, ideally, we need to have at least 3 workers on a board, so we couldn't find a third person to work.
Yeah. And you have had to in the past by moving someone there. One
Correct.
resident. This would get you 3 if you move the same person, correct?
Correct, yes. The other worker is in Meadville and travels all the way out to Centerville.
And is he willing to do that again?
I have not spoke with him. In the fall, after the last election, he did suggest that he would like to be relocated closer to his home residence.
Okay.
I would say that if this moves forward, perhaps we touch base with the individual who reached out with us again and impress upon her the importance of, if she's willing to help in the future, this would not be a bad opportunity to train, where she would be in a facility with more hands to help.
Right.
See if she likes it. I applaud the intent that she certainly wants to keep in the borough, and I don't hold that against her, but I think that really fundamentally when it comes down to it, we just need to help with no strings attached, I guess is the best way I could say it.
My concern is that we currently have other precincts in the same boat that now have identified 0 members, and are we going to follow the same precedent and move those precincts sometimes outside of another municipality who also doesn't have it? I mean, we always do this global ask for help, and I don't think people take it. It doesn't have much traction until after you make a move.
Until it hits.
But and maybe that would work for Centerville if we make the move. My concern is, and again, it sounds funny, but I'm a townvillian and I'm from that area. This road is not a straight, easy path. I really been struggling with this. I did have a couple people reach out to me, and I responded the same way you did. I said, well, then you need to step up. And I did reach out to a couple people in Centerville who I know, and they aren't happy, but they also did not commit to helping. But I'm really having a tough time with this because the windiness and the hilliness of that road for an elderly individual, and it's just concerning to me. I never want to have people not vote. And I know that the individual probably would want to move, but I know he would also be there if he would do that if he could. And I thought maybe if we did it there this time, maybe the lady would fall in love with Bowie and, work well together and, want to do it again.
That'd be
So,
wonderful.
I don't know if that sentence has ever been said out loud.
Yeah, I know,
before.
and I do appreciate Bowie Kalkbrenner. He has been a dedicated individual there. I drop the bags off there, and he's very diligent at his job, and I think he does a good job. And I'm not sure that he'd be the happiest being in Athens either, I'm pretty sure. But this is hard for me because I think we can draw some more attention But I would only caution the board that
Yeah.
I don't know what else we do for the other places that she's identified
Yeah, and
recently, so.
I think the difference being is that oftentimes those regions do step up. We're able to draw on other volunteers from those areas.
Correct.
And this is where really the well is quite dry.
Yeah, I get it.
I understand the same concern. From Linesville Borough, we have people appointed from time to time, and certainly in many locations around the county. But we just have a unique difficulty in this.
Yeah,
case.
and I didn't want her to have to do the work, but I was curious as to how many of our precincts actually have an in-precinct board, and
Right.
I don't know the percentages, but it's not very good, probably. All in-precinct board,
It's
right?
not ideal,
Yeah.
for sure.
No, it's
There's
probably,
not.
I mean, I think it's less than half, probably,
Yes.
so.
And I think that last year, correct me, but we had sent a direct solicitation to all voters in Centerville, kind of indicating that we really need your help.
We did?
Correct.
A
So,
postcard went out last year. Or was it the year before?
I don't remember the
no,
postcard.
so last year for it being a municipal year, the judge of elections and inspector seats were up in
Right.
each precinct. And in January, when I sent out petition packets to each municipality, I also included a letter saying that poll workers were needed in the location, and what we were specifically looking for, whether it was the judge of elections or it was a majority inspector, whatever seats were needing to be filled. I was trying to encourage people to file petitions for it. And I believe that most secretaries did announce that in their meeting. And there was a poster sent out that they hung up in the building, as far as I know.
I thought for sure we had done a direct mailer to Centerville. I was almost certain
My,
we did.
my other
That there was a
concern,
postcard
Chairman,
of
is
some
that
sort.
for my issue, is being the actual definition of temporary,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean it's temporary for one election, 2 elections, 3 elections? Like, at what time is it not temporary anymore? Because we can't move the actual location permanently without, sounds like an act of God of some type. It sounds very difficult.
God or legislature.
So,
Just either is just
that's the other
unlikely.
issue I have is, so we move it, and what did we really gain? Because we're gonna have to move it back. It's temporary. If it was gonna be, and don't get me wrong, I understand the idea of vote centers if nothing happens down the road, but I cannot support it today because I do think it does deter voters in Centerville Board to vote. It just does. And I think. I think having Bowie there and having, if this lady would help, and I can convince one other person, I think we'll be in better shape than we were, if the other individual still wants to stay. I want to encourage her, and I want her to come, and maybe she can draw some of her friends in. But I can't support it today. So I heard enough from the people in Centerville. It's the hilly road, it's the distance, and I can't do it, so.
I concur. Athens Township voters have been traveling that same road. If it's good enough for them.
In their own township, though.
In their own township, admittedly, but at some point, we're going to have to do something about this. I understand the concerns. This is not a refrain we have not shouted from the hilltops, even my predecessor, all of our predecessors. This has been an ongoing issue, and at some point, the shoe is going to drop. I don't want to see it happen in Centerville any more than I do anywhere else. But if there's not going to be an interest in the voters of that precinct in stepping up and doing this work, I think it's profoundly unfair that we ask the gentleman, he's from Meadville, that's well outside of what I would consider a reasonable distance. I had to be judge of elections in Titusville one time, and that precinct no longer exists because we could not fill those positions. My heart's with Centerville. I truly understand this is not something I'd want to see happen. If we want to seek clarification on what temporary entails, I think we can certainly do that.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that the road is the same in that township, but that is their township that they live in, and that's, to me, is different. So Centerville is on a paved road. It's a very handicap accessible building. It has ample parking. The small group of individuals are traveling less than a quarter mile to their polling precinct. I just think it does provide some harm to them when it comes to the ability to vote, especially in an election if the weather is bad too. And I just, for me, that's my issue. Again, the people who have reached out to me, I know personally, and I've said, you need to, and to some younger folks who reached out, I said, listen, I need you to, like, step up. I need you to go do 13, 14 hours of work. I mean, unfortunately, and you know, we have increased pay, but we all know it's not much pay. So I did, you know, for me, you know, I think if that individual is willing to work, then that's a win for us, and I think if we can expound on that and add an additional person before then, that I'm encouraged that we might be able to do that. So that's just me. Okay.
She gave all indications that she is committing to work if we leave it in Centerville.
Yes, she did.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Shell, what do you think?
If we have her word on it, and in the meantime, if we can, I realize the population's not out there, but somewhere along the line, there's gotta be somebody that's willing to go there.
Okay. In that case, kind of getting a consensus from the board, I would entertain a motion to table indefinitely the motion that's currently on the floor. So we won't have to vote it down. We would
I would
table
prefer we vote it
indefinitely.
down myself, but that's just me. Because I think it's another whole, if we have to do it again, we would do it in the future.
Yeah, tabling it indefinitely just kind of kills it, essentially, so we're not
Wouldn't voting it down as well?
in a much more definitive sense.
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay.
That's up to you then.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion well, it's on the table, right?
It is on the motion.
I'm
So
ready
you
to call
the
a vote.
question.
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please give their consent by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
No.
Motion fails. Okay. In that case, if you would kindly, Jesselyn, reach out to the two individuals we do have committed and see if our auxiliary would be willing to schlep out there again.
And maybe I would be fine with a postcard now that says, listen, we were close, but we
Yeah.
got one person and we need additional help. We're trying to keep it there. And maybe we can spur some interest from that. I'd be welcome to do that. I think it'd be great.
Okay.
So,
Also, does anybody have a Facebook page? That little church, they do anything like that? I don't know whether their fire department
oh yeah,
has a
I
Facebook
think,
page
yeah.
or
I'll
not.
tell you who would help us is Jack Post goes to the church in Centerville.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk to Jack. Okay.
Okay. All right, is there any other business for the Board of Elections? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.